Hello, welcome again to the Management Channel. This section we're going to talk about supervision leadership, and particularly on handling employees and in dealing with employee complaints. Supervision defined, we have a supervisor and a working supervisor. A supervisor are first-level managers in charge of entry-level and regular departmental employees. A working supervisor is in charge of first-level employees who perform supervisory functions but may not be officially part of management. The term is outdated. Manager is more common. Supervisor has pretty much left the scene. Other terms have come into play: group leader, team leader. Just as business is constantly changing, so are the managerial duties and challenges. The goal is successful management of people, a diverse group of people of all ages, races, and gender to work cooperatively towards a common goal, and that's the organization's objectives. Effective supervisors have technical, human relations, administrative, conceptual, and political skills. They must have a good working knowledge and have technical aspects of the work being performed. They need to understand employee needs when attempting to manage their job performance. They must have people skills to help them accomplish the objectives with and through people. After all, it's managing and leading people. So they need to understand the dynamics of the organization and to recognize organizational politics. Critical managerial skills should be technical skills, the ability to do the job. Human relations skills, the ability to work with and through people. Obviously, administrative skills, the ability to plan, organize, and coordinate activities. They need to have conceptual skills, the ability to obtain, interpret, and apply information, and think through abstract situations. Also have to have political skills, the ability to understand how things get done outside of formal channels. And emotional intelligence skills, the ability to intelligently use your emotions and keep them at bay without showing anger, frustration. Managerial skills can be both learned and developed. They're learnable. It takes time, effort, and determination for a supervisor to develop those skills, and management is practiced on the job. Supervisor will go through a learning curve that offers very little ground for trial and error. Management requires a constant practice of grooming and rethinking and reevaluating what you did and how things went, what went well, what went wrong. Managers must stay on the path of continuous improvement to sharpen their skills. But you are going to make mistakes, and you need to learn how to handle those. Not everything you do is going to be perfect. The functions of management are planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. If you looked at operations management, these topics were discussed. I'll leave this for a moment for you to read through. Pause if you feel like you want to. So what do managers do? According to philosopher Henry Fayol, managers have 5 primary functions: planning, setting down a course of action; organizing, designing some kind of structure with the task and authority clearly defined; commanding, directing subordinates' actions; coordinating, pulling together all organizational elements toward the common objective; and controlling, ensuring that those plans are carried out and on track. Today, managers perform 4 primary functions. They plan, organize, lead, and control. Managers today need to take responsibility and be given the authority to perform these 4 functions. Effective supervisors must be adaptable and be able to maintain their perspective in the face of rapidly changing conditions. In other words, you need to be able to juggle. Let's go back memory lane here, just to emphasize a point. Where were you in 1990? In 1990, Microsoft introduces Windows 3.0. There were 5 trillion fax machines. Average public university was less than $2,000 a year. East and West Germany were reunited when Reagan had them tear down the wall. 19.7% of those over age 5 speak a language other than English in the home. Women earn about 67 cents for each dollar a man makes doing comparable work. The ADA was signed into law. Oil prices were starting to soar. And the cost of a first-class stamp rises to 25 cents. Think about how this has changed to things today. How far have we advanced? There are factors and trends affecting management today. Diversity. It's the cultural, ethnic, gender, age, educational level, racial, and all the lifestyle differences of employees. The population in the workforce has grown, and they continue to grow in both. Better educated, but many employees still lack basic skills. Changing age patterns, the workforce will continue to grow older. Generation Xers were from 1964 to 1981. The baby boomers were 1946 to 1963. And the matures, most of them have passed on before 1945. When and how work will be done has changed. We have flex time now. These are policies that allow employees to choose their work hours within stated limits. Job sharing, a policy that allows 2 or more employees to perform a job normally done by just one full-time employee. And telecommuting, working from home via computer. More racial minorities in the workforce, more non-English speaking employees. There are opportunities for both women and minorities now. The glass ceiling is slowly breaking. It's that invisible barrier that limits the advancement of women minorities. It's starting to break. The glass walls are coming down. Glass walls are the invisible barriers that compartmentalize women and minorities into just certain occupational classes. And again, those boundaries are cracking. Occupational industry trends, there's a steady growth in business-related services like computer services, retail trade, healthcare, transportation, financial services. There is continued downsizing and growth in outsourcing, hence our problem with too much being made in China. There is declines in large-scale industrial manufacturing businesses with growth more so in small and mid-sized firms. Changing technology and business conditions are showing an increased demand for use of computer skills as part of your day-to-day responsibility. Ever-increasing amounts of data information to be properly managed. And there's big uncertainty about when and how technological change will impact a supervisor's position. Employment conditions and work scheduling, working with a contingent workforce, that is, part-time, temporary, or contract employees who work schedules depend primarily on employer needs. Motivating temporary employees is difficult. They know they're there only short-term. Some will think if they do a great job, they could land a permanent job, and some just won't care. There's a lack of commitment among transient employees. And then you have your work scheduling problems. Employee demands for greater flexibility to attend family needs, doctor appointments is likely to increase. Workplace incivility and people that make life difficult, rude behavior and lack of respect for management in the workplace is also increasing, threatening the effectiveness of most organizations. Understanding how to deal with this and with difficult people is a critically needed managerial skill. Successful managers today need to master the 3 E's: engagement, motivating your employees to become loyal, enthused, and dedicated to the survival of the organization, and empowerment, giving employees the authority and responsibility to accomplish their individual work and the organizational objectives, making decisions on their own, and employee participation, hence participative management. That's involving employees to offer ideas and share in the decision-making. Supervisors manage their firm's most important resources, people or human resources, and supervisors who want to be more effective need to know how to motivate and develop the habits of these highly effective people who perform at their best. You need to recognize the need for continuous self-development and renewing the four dimensions of their nature: spiritual, mental, social and emotional, and physical, and have the skills to handle employee complaints. A complaint is an expression of dissatisfaction with the situation, often coupled with a request for change. The ability to handle complaints properly requires strong leadership skills, listening, and patience. We have two kinds of complaints to consider as a manager: the employee complaint and sometimes the customer complaint. First of all, when handling employee complaints, listen to the complaint and paraphrase it. In other words, repeat it back to them. So, as I understand it, you feel that Tom is using a lot of your resources in the operation. Ask the complainer to recommend solution. Okay, and what would you like us to do, or how do you think we could fix this? Schedule a time to gather all the facts and then make a decision. Develop a plan for addressing that complaint, and then implement the plan and follow up, meaning get back with the person who made the complaint and see if things have improved. Take a look at this video.
Managers use a wide range of technical, interpersonal, and conceptual skills. Within their job responsibilities, all managers use these skills to perform the four consistent functions of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. When performing the management functions, you can successfully handle day-to-day management challenges by using the step-by-step model presented in the management text. This 5-part sequence gives you a process to follow when handling employee complaints. Step 1. Listen to the complaint and paraphrase it. Step 2. Have the complainer recommend a solution. Step 3. Schedule time to get all the facts and/or make a decision. Step 4. Develop a plan. Step 5. Implement the plan and follow up. In the following scenario, Andrew McBain is a brand assistant at a Fortune 500 retail product manufacturing company. He's been working at the same position for a year and is mad because a coworker got a promotion to the position he wanted. He has addressed the issue with his immediate supervisor, Bob Hadley, who promoted his coworker, but has not been satisfied with Bob's responses. Therefore, Andrew has decided to meet with his boss's boss, Cassandra Lewis.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today, Cassandra.
No problem. Now, you mentioned that there's a problem in your department that you're concerned about and you don't feel comfortable talking to your manager about it. Why don't you tell me about the situation?
Okay. Well, last June, Karen Ross was assigned to our project team, and I was told to help her out and let her know what was going on, and that was fine. Then I started noticing that she was starting to take credit for some of the projects that we'd worked on together, but there was really nothing that I could call her on. I joked about it, but it didn't seem to make much of an impression. Then our manager, Bob, started giving her work on projects that I was really interested in doing, like the market research for our test market in Albuquerque. I could have really done a good job on that, but I ended up being manager of the focus groups. But the worst thing is that now Karen has been promoted to assistant brand manager, and I never even got to put my name in for it.
Let me make sure I understand this clearly. You feel that Karen has taken credit for some of your projects, got plum assignments, and got a promotion that you feel you deserved. It seems to you that you've not been treated fairly in your department. Is that correct?
Yeah, that sounds about right. It is the natural step for a brand assistant to move into the assistant brand manager position here. And I've really been working hard to learn everything I can about that job so that I can get that promotion.
Well, Andrew, what would make you feel better about working in your department now?
Well, I'd like to be promoted to assistant brand manager too, or at least when the next promotion opens up.
Now, I can't guarantee that, and obviously I need to know more about the situation. what I want to do is talk to Bob and see how he feels about what's going on. Does he know that you're talking to me about this?
Well, he knows that I'm meeting with you. I don't think he knows exactly what it's about. I don't think it'll be a problem, though.
Okay, well, why didn't you feel comfortable talking to him in the first place?
I have spoken to him before about the problems with Karen. He just didn't seem to do anything about them.
All right, then. Well, I'm going to talk to him, and I'm going to think about things you said. I just really hope that he doesn't think that you've come to me to complain about him. Why don't we finish this discussion tomorrow? Is 4 o'clock okay?
That would be fine.
Well, Andrew, let's get right down to this. After talking with Bob, I realized that there was some important information that should have been conveyed to you when Karen came onto your team.
What's that?
Well, Karen is more heavy into finance and research. She's on sort of an MIS management track. Now, typically what the company does is bring people from that department into the brand for a couple of years to let them know what we do from day to day, to make them better managers. Also, Karen has been with the company several more years than you have. Now, while you were seeing her as competition, unless you would plan on getting into MIS, she would actually be a good ally for you as you go up the ladder. You should have been better informed, and I talked to Bob about that. Now, Bob also informed me that you took on a slightly adversarial attitude with Karen when she first came on. He seems to think that you aren't a very good team player. That's going to be very important to your success as you move on through this company.
That may be true.
Now, you should know that Bob thinks you do very good work. Actually, he was glad to hear that you're interested in an ABM position. We both feel that you need to work on your interpersonal skills. But your analysis skills and your product knowledge show that you have good study and insight.
That's good to hear. What can I do to move forward?
Well, we feel that it would be best if you take the marketing communications course that's offered here by our Human Resources Department. Also, I feel that it would be a good idea for you to talk to Bob on a regular basis regarding your concerns. If you talk to him and ask the right questions, I think that you'll feel that you have more knowledge about what's going on in the department. I can't stress to you enough how important it is for you to develop a good relationship with your manager. He's the one that does your personnel reviews, and a good personnel review is what's going to get you promoted.
That course sounds like a good idea. Thanks, Cassandra. I do feel better now that you've explained the situation with Karen. Have I hurt my chances for promotion here?
No, you'll be fine. Bob's a good guy. He won't have a problem with you coming to see me. But Andrew, I cannot stress enough how important it is for you to develop your interpersonal skills. It's so important for you to develop a good relationship with your manager, whether it's Bob or someone down the road. If you don't, it can hurt your chances for advancement. Now, I've put some notes into your file, and the communications course is going to be a necessary follow-through for you. I think you'll learn some good skills, and it'll be interesting what your reactions are after you've taken the course.
That'll be great. I thank you again for your time and help, Cassandra.
No problem. I'm really excited. I've taken the course myself, and it's really fun. I'm really excited. I've taken the course myself, and it's really good.
And thus, you see, this was the proper way to handle employee complaints. Similarly, you have customer complaints. And remember, a complaint from a customer is a gift. They are letting you know what you're doing wrong. Otherwise, the ones who don't complain will talk to others and actually hurt your reputation more. So when you get a customer complaint, try to handle it as best as you can and make them a win-win situation. So listen to the complaint and again, paraphrase it. Admit the mistake and apologize. Agree on a solution, having the customer recommend a solution, of course. Find out what would make them happy. Develop a plan for addressing the complaint and implement it quickly. And then, of course, implement the plan to prevent it from happening to other customers. Managerial authority is the legitimate right to direct and lead others in the use of the resources of the organization. Management has positional or formal authority. However, flaunting it or overusing it doesn't really inspire or motivate employees to do their best. Fostering mutual trust and respect, inspiring teamwork and loyalty provides the best production and output, and hence participative management. Saying please and thank you creates a lot of respect. You can tell someone to do something, but why not ask them, hey, would you go over and take care of that for me, please? That makes them feel like they have a choice and they want to do it. And then when they're done, make sure you thank them for it. Hey, thanks for taking care of that for me. I really appreciate it. That lets them know you appreciate what they did, you recognize what they did, and you respect them. Managers have power, and it's a power to influence others. There's position power, the power that you get from just being that upper manager and that you're over them in the chain of command. There's personal power, and that's power that is derived from a person's factors and how others perceive them as a person. There's reward power, the granting of rewards to foster and control the organization's valued behaviors. Coercive power, the use of threat or punishment and discipline to influence others. Not a good tactic. Legitimate power, just relying on the position or rank to gain compliance by others. Expert power, possessing certain knowledge or valuable skills and information gives a person expert power over those who need that information. And referent or charismatic power, the influence of some tangible or intangible aspect of one's personality using upon another. Coordination and cooperation goes a long way. Coordination is a synchronization of employees' efforts and the organization's resources toward achieving the goal. Cooperation is the willingness of individuals to work with and help one another. The goal of management must be to inspire teamwork, working cooperatively towards a common goal, and to coordinate their efforts to reach organizational objectives. Labor unions are another topic. Unions became necessary when management failed to treat employees fairly or ignore their needs and did not provide an atmosphere of mutual respect and trust. Labor unions are legally recognized organizations representing employees to negotiate and administer a labor agreement with an employer. Union agreement or contract is a negotiated document that describes the terms and conditions of employment for representing their employees. Managers in supervision have the right and duty to make decisions, but a labor agreement does not take that away from them, but it may restrict them. However, it does give the union a right to challenge a supervisor's decision and that the union might believe to be a violation of the labor agreement. So in doing so, they can form a grievance. It's a formal complaint presented by the union alleging a violation of the labor agreement. And then that leads to arbitration or mediation. A person selected by the union and management to render a final and binding decision concerning a grievance or using an outside third party to mediate the decision. As you can see, we have finished here on supervision. Next, I hope you'll take a look at the ethical and cultural supervision. Have a great day.